Have you ever walked into your kitchen first thing in the morning, looked around, and thought, it looks clean, but it doesn't feel fresh? The counters are wiped, the dishes are done, yet somehow the air feels heavy, carrying yesterday's cooking, a hint of grease, maybe even a quiet mustiness that makes you sigh instead of smile. I remember one morning at my own kitchen table. The sunlight was streaming in beautifully, but the air carried the faint smell of last night's fried fish. I had scrubbed the pans, taken out the trash, even mopped the floor, and still, my kitchen didn't feel alive. That moment hit me. Freshness doesn't always come from how much we clean. Sometimes it comes from something softer, smaller, more intentional. Here's the twist. Japanese homes, especially kitchens, aren't always bigger or fancier than ours, but they often feel lighter, calmer, almost timelessly fresh. And it's not because of expensive sprays or gadgets. It's because of small daily habits, rituals of care, that honor both the space and the people in it. You see, one of the quiet fears we carry as we age is that our home begins to lose its soul. We worry that the kitchen, once the heart of our family, will become just another room with lingering odors, a space no one remembers fondly. But it doesn't have to be that way. In this video, I'll share 7 Japanese kitchen hacks that keep homes smelling fresh forever. They're gentle, practical, easy to try. No chemicals, no pressure. Just kindness woven into your daily rhythm. And I promise the last hack isn't about cleaning at all. It's about memory. And it might just change the way you feel about your kitchen for the rest of your life. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching from? And how has your daily rhythm in the kitchen been lately? We read every single comment, and your story might be just what someone else needs today. So, let's begin. And the first hack is simple but powerful. It starts with the very air in your kitchen, the first furniture everyone feels when they walk in. Hack 1. The morning airflow. Have you ever noticed that even after scrubbing the counters and taking out the trash, your kitchen still feels heavy, almost stale, like the air itself has been holding on to yesterday? One of the simplest Japanese habits is what I call the morning airflow. As soon as you wake up, before coffee, before the dishes, you open 2 windows or a window and the door to create a gentle cross breeze. Just 10-15 minutes. That's it. The air resets itself, and so does your mood. If you don't have windows facing each other, a small fan can help guide the air through. I remember visiting Mrs. Yumi, a 72-year-old neighbor. She lives alone now since her husband passed. For months, she told me her home felt quiet but sad. When I asked her what her mornings looked like, she said she barely touched the curtains. So we tried something small. She opened the kitchen window and the tiny bathroom window across the hall. The air moved, light came in, and after just a few minutes, she whispered, "I didn't realize how still my house had become." That moment stayed with me, because the truth is, one of the silent fears as we age is that our homes will start to feel lifeless, reflecting the loneliness we sometimes carry. A stale kitchen can almost mirror a stale spirit, but you don't have to accept that. You can let your home breathe with you. For me, this practice has become a quiet ritual. I don't just open the window. I stand there for a moment, feel the air shift across my face, and remind myself, this is a new day. The breeze doesn't just refresh the room, it refreshes me. A Japanese proverb says, "The air in a house is the air in the heart." I believe that's true. When your kitchen feels lighter, your spirit follows. So maybe tomorrow morning, before you make your tea or coffee, try opening just one window. Let your home wake up with you. You don't need expensive purifiers or scented sprays, just fresh air, a free gift waiting outside. You can do this too. And once the air is flowing, the next question becomes, what about the things that hold the air inside them? Fabrics, like curtains, cushions, and dish towels carry more scent than we realize. Let's talk about those in the next hack. Hack 2. Wash the quiet fabrics. Do you ever wonder why your kitchen still smells a little musty, even after you've mopped the floor and wiped every counter? The hidden answer is often in the fabrics, the quiet ones we forget. In Japanese homes, fabrics are treated almost like living things. Dish towels, curtains, tablecloths, seat cushions, they don't just pick up crumbs and dust. They absorb every meal, every bit of steam, even yesterday's cooking oil. That's why refreshing them regularly brings the whole kitchen back to life. A simple rhythm could be dish towels daily, chair covers and table runners weekly, curtains once a month. If it feels like too much, just begin with one, maybe the kitchen curtain or that favorite apron. I think of Mrs. Sato, 68, who once told me with a shy laugh, "I cleaned every day, but my house still carried the smell of old tempura." She realized she hadn't washed her lace curtains in 10 years. One sunny morning she finally did, hung them back damp with lavender water, and that night she called me. Her voice was soft, almost like a child's. "I slept better," she said, "because my house felt like it was breathing again." Beneath her words was something deeper. Many older women carry a silent fear that our homes will slowly lose their warmth and no one will notice. A stale-smelling kitchen can feel like proof of being overlooked, but every time we refresh the fabrics, it's like saying, this home and the life inside it still matters. For me, this was a turning point. I used to wash only what was visible: dishes, counters, floors. But the day I laundered my faded cushion covers and ironed them with a drop of lemon oil, I walked into my kitchen and felt tears prick my eyes. It wasn't just clean, it felt cared for. There's even science behind it. Studies show that fabrics hold odor molecules far longer than hard surfaces, which is why cleaning them can improve indoor air quality more than any spray. Or, as Mrs. Sato put it more simply, when my curtains smelled fresh, my heart felt fresh too. So maybe this week, choose just one fabric that's been waiting quietly for your touch. A dish towel, a table runner, or that curtain you never think about. Wash it, let it dry in the breeze, and notice how the whole room feels lighter. You can do this too. And once the fabrics are breathing again, there's another gentle secret Japanese homes rely on. Not adding more scent, but removing the heaviness itself. Let's talk about the humble vinegar bowl and why it might surprise you in the very best way. Hack 3. The vinegar and rice trick. Have you ever walked into your kitchen the morning after cooking and thought, why does the smell still linger even though I cleaned everything? In Japan, there's a gentle trick passed down quietly: a small bowl with vinegar and rice left overnight. The vinegar absorbs odors from oil and smoke, while the rice acts like a sponge for moisture and heaviness in the air. It's simple. Fill a small ceramic bowl with a handful of uncooked rice, pour in 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, and place it near the stove, the sink, or even inside the fridge. By morning, the air feels lighter, as if someone quietly opened a window while you slept. I remember visiting Mrs. Tanaka, 72, who told me she dreaded the smell of fried fish that seemed to live in her kitchen for days. She sighed. It made me feel like my house was dirty, even when I had worked so hard to clean it. Her real fear wasn't the smell. It was the thought that visitors might judge her home as careless. One night she tried the vinegar and rice bowl. The next day she called her daughter and said with relief, "For the first time, my kitchen smelled empty, like a clean slate." That's the quiet fear many of us carry as we grow older, that no matter how much effort we put in, it still won't be enough. But this little trick reminds us that care doesn't always mean force. Sometimes it means letting the simplest things do the work for you. I used to chase smells with strong sprays and candles, but they only covered the air, never lifted it. The first time I tried the vinegar bowl, I was startled at how the room felt not perfumed, but free. It reminded me that freshness isn't about adding more, it's about creating space to breathe. There's even a study from Japanese homemakers' journals showing that vinegar neutralizes odor molecules faster than most commercial sprays, without leaving behind any chemicals. Or, as Mrs. Tanaka so beautifully put it, it wasn't that the house smelled good, it was that the house smelled like nothing, and that felt peaceful. So maybe tonight, place a tiny bowl with vinegar and rice in the corner of your kitchen. In the morning, pause for just a second and notice the shift. You deserve that kind of quiet care. You can do this too. And once the air feels lighter, there's another Japanese habit that adds not just freshness, but comfort, infusing the very act of cleaning with gentle fragrance. Let's explore that next. Hack 4. Cleaning with aroma. Some counters can sparkle, yet the room still feels strangely empty, don't you think? I remember one afternoon I wiped my whole kitchen table until it gleamed. But when I sat down, it felt like something was missing, like the room was clean, but not alive. In many Japanese homes, cleaning isn't just about removing dirt, it's about infusing the act itself with gentle fragrance. Imagine this. Instead of waiting until after you clean to light a candle, you let the scent accompany you while you work. A few drops of citrus or lavender essential oil mixed into warm water turns wiping the counter into something soothing. Suddenly, you're not just cleaning, you're caring. I'll never forget Mrs. Saito, 68, who confessed that cleaning had started to feel empty for her. Her hands were stiff, her back ached, and she said softly, "Sometimes it feels like I'm just fighting dust that will come back tomorrow." One afternoon, her granddaughter showed her how to add 2 drops of yuzu oil into her mop bucket. The scent rose as she wiped the floor. She told me later, "For the first time, I felt like the room was giving something back to me." The hidden fear behind her words was this, that her effort was invisible, that all her care would disappear unnoticed. But fragrance has a way of whispering back, "You mattered. This mattered." I used to think cleaning had to smell like bleach to mean done, but now I see it differently. When my cloth carries the scent of orange or rosemary, I don't just see a shiny counter. I feel a cared-for space, and I breathe deeper, not because it's perfect, but because it's kind. Studies in aromatherapy even show that citrus scents can lift mood and reduce fatigue by up to 30%. And Mrs. Saito's own words stay with me. The lemon floor wasn't just clean, it felt like sunshine under my feet. So maybe this week, try adding a drop of essential oil to your cleaning water, or make a small spray with water, vinegar, and lavender oil to wipe down your table. You don't need much, just a hint, enough to remind you that this isn't a chore, it's an act of care. You can do this too, and here's the gentle nudge. If scent can accompany cleaning, it can also hide in quiet corners, waiting to surprise you when you least expect it. That's the beauty of the next Japanese hack. Let's move there together. Hack 5. Invisible scent corners. Sometimes the most comforting part of a home isn't what you see, but what you sense quietly in the air. Have you ever walked into a room and felt a soft peace, though you couldn't point to why? One of the simplest Japanese-inspired tricks is to create invisible scent corners. Instead of displaying candles or sprays, you tuck tiny whispers of fragrance into hidden places. A cotton ball with a few drops of essential oil slipped behind a stack of books, a small sachet under the cushion of your favorite chair, a scented square of cloth taped discreetly inside the closet wall. They don't shout. They don't try to impress. They simply wait. And then, when you least expect it, they remind you that your space is alive. I remember visiting Mrs. Natsuko, 74, who lives in a small home filled with light but very few decorations. I couldn't see any candles, diffusers, or sprays. Yet her home smelled like serenity. She laughed when I asked about it, then pulled out a drawer. Inside were little fabric pouches, each tied with a piece of string, tucked quietly in corners. "I like it when people can't name the scent," she said, "only the feeling." That moment stayed with me, because it spoke to a quiet fear many women carry but rarely voice, the fear of their presence becoming invisible with age. To tuck scent into hidden places is like leaving behind little proofs of yourself. It says, "I was here, I cared, I made this space gentle." Personally, I've come to love these invisible touches more than anything flashy. They feel like kindness folded into the fabric of daily life. No pressure, no performance, just tenderness that lingers in silence. As Mrs. Natsuko once told me, a hidden scent is like a secret smile, only your home and you share. So maybe tonight, choose one cotton ball, add a drop of lavender or orange oil, and hide it where only you will know. You don't have to tell anyone. Let it be your secret note of care. You can do this too, and it takes less than a minute. And here's the beautiful part. Once you discover how much joy something so small can bring, you'll realize even kitchen scraps can become a source of daily luxury. Let's talk about that in the next hack. Hack 6. Citrus peel. Simmer in sachets. Have you ever peeled an orange and before even tasting it, felt the room brighten just from the fragrance on your fingers? That's the quiet power of citrus. And in Japanese homes, nothing goes to waste, not even the peel. Here's the simple trick. Instead of throwing away orange or lemon peels, save them. Drop them into a small pot of water with a cinnamon stick or clove. Simmer gently for 10-15 minutes. The steam carries a fresh, warm scent through the kitchen, like a soft hug for the air. Or, if you prefer something that lasts, dry the peels, mix them with a little rice or baking soda, and place the mixture into small cloth sachets. Hide them in a drawer, under the sink, or inside a shoe cabinet. Suddenly, your home smells fresh without buying anything new. I remember Lydia, 72, who shared with me her morning ritual. She lives alone and winters often feel heavy. One day, she began simmering orange peel in a pot while making tea. She told me, "The scent filled my kitchen before the kettle even boiled. It felt like someone had lit a candle just for me." She now calls it her daily luxury, simple, free, and quietly beautiful. There's an unspoken fear many of us hold as we age, that life becomes dull, repetitive, that joy has to be purchased. But a trick like this whispers the opposite. Beauty can still be created from what we already have. It reminds us we don't need grand gestures to feel alive. Personally, I've come to treasure these little simmering pots. They remind me that home is less about how perfect it looks and more about how gently it feels to live in it. And honestly, every time I catch that soft citrus scent, I smile without meaning to. As Lydia once said, even scraps can carry beauty. And I think that's a truth worth holding on to. So maybe the next time you peel an orange, pause before you toss it. Place it in a simmering pot or save it for a sachet. Let the scent remind you that freshness doesn't come from the store. It comes from noticing the small things. You can do this too, and it might just become your favorite part of the day. And while citrus can lift a space instantly, sometimes the heaviest smells come from the places we avoid most. In the next hack, we'll face one of those hidden culprits together, the humble trash can. Hack 7. The tea leaf ritual. Do you know that the very tea leaves sitting in your kitchen can do more than make a comforting cup? In Japan, tea is not only for drinking, it's also a quiet way to keep the home fresh, alive, and cared for. Here's how it works. After brewing your tea, don't throw the leaves away. Spread them on a plate to dry, then sprinkle them on the kitchen floor before sweeping. The leaves catch dust, absorb odor, and leave behind a subtle earthiness. Another way is to place dried leaves into a small cloth pouch and tuck it into the fridge, a shoe cabinet, or even the trash bin. The leaves quietly drink up bad smells, leaving only freshness. I think of Mrs. Hannah, 74, who told me over tea one afternoon, "My grandmother always swept with tea leaves. She said, 'It's not just cleaning, it's giving thanks to what we used.'" Hannah still does it today, especially when her arthritis makes bending and scrubbing difficult. She explained that scattering tea leaves slows her down, but in the best way, turning a chore into a ritual. There's a silent fear that many older women carry, that one day our homes will smell stale, like we've stopped paying attention, as if life has gone flat. But this little tea ritual is a gentle protest against that fear. It says, "I still notice, I still care. I can make beauty from what I have." Personally, the first time I swept with tea leaves, I was surprised at the quiet joy it brought. The scent was subtle, but the act itself felt tender, like I was part of a tradition that honored both the home and myself. Hannah's words still echo in my mind. Every time I sweep with tea, my home smells like memory, not age. And I believe that's a powerful reminder that freshness isn't about covering up, it's about living with care. So next time you brew tea, pause before tossing the leaves. Try sprinkling them on the floor or slipping them into a pouch for the fridge. You can do this too. And who knows? It might turn an ordinary day into a small ritual of gratitude. And while tea leaves can quietly refresh your space, there's one more practice that reaches even deeper, using scent not just for freshness, but for memory. Let's walk into that final hack together. Let me ask you something. When was the last time your kitchen made you smile? Not because it was spotless, but because it felt alive? The truth is, freshness doesn't come from scrubbing harder or buying fancy sprays. It comes from the quiet, gentle habits we've shared today, opening the morning air, tending the fabrics, letting vinegar or rice absorb odors, simmering citrus peels, hiding little scent corners, sweeping with tea leaves. Simple things, doable things, acts of care that don't demand strength, but give back peace. I still remember Mrs. Emmy, 75, who told me, "When my kitchen smells clean, I feel like I haven't disappeared." That stayed with me, because behind her words was a silent fear so many of us carry. The fear that aging makes us invisible, that our homes will stop reflecting who we are. But these little hacks, they're not just about smell. They're about presence. They whisper, "I'm still here. I still matter." For me, adopting these Japanese rituals has been more than cleaning. It's been a way to slow down, to bring tenderness into ordinary moments, and to remind myself that my space deserves kindness just as much as I do. As one woman once said after washing her old curtains, "It felt like my house exhaled, and so did I." That's the kind of relief and renewal we all deserve, at any age. So here's my gentle invitation. Choose just one hack to try this week. Maybe it's sprinkling tea leaves. Maybe it's placing a cotton ball with lavender oil behind a shelf. Small, steady, and filled with care. You can do this too, and I'd love to hear from you. What's the scent that makes your home feel most like home? Share it below. Your memory might be the comfort someone else needs today. As we close, remember this. Your kitchen doesn't need to impress anyone. It only needs to hold you, to breathe with you, to remind you that you're still here. Until next time, be kind to your space, and even kinder to yourself.